Oshi no Ko is a series that I had my eyes on for a while, but with so many manga slash light novel series that I have been reading as of recently, I haven't gotten the time to actually read Oshi no Ko. That was until of course the announcement of the anime, in which I decided to now finally read the series and see what it was all about. I remember so many people talking about how great of a series this is, but the announcement of the anime adaptation wasn't the only reason why I was interested in this series. The other reason why I was interested in this series was because this was written by the same author who made Kaguya-sama Love is War. However, unlike Kaguya-sama Love is War, in which it was mainly a romantic comedy, this was quite the opposite, as this was a very dark series that shed light on the entertainment industry. And now that I finally caught up to the manga, I can now finally talk about this entire series and why I consider this the best manga series that I've read in a while. Now, of course, spoiler warnings, because I am going to spoil things that happen in this series, so if you're not up to date with the manga or you're waiting for the anime adaptation, then you have been warned. So with that out of the way, let's just begin. So let's just start from the beginning as to how this story starts. So of course, this series starts with the introduction to Ai Hoshino, an up-and-coming idol who's been getting a lot of attention and managed to build a really big fan base. And one of these people in her fan base is a doctor from the countryside that goes by the name of Garu Amemiya. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, my apologies. This doctor was a really huge fan of Ai. Now, whether this was fate or just a simple coincidence, because one day Ai decides to go to the hospital that he's working at because as a result she is pregnant and is about to give birth to 2 kids. And because Ai is somebody that he's a huge fan of, he promises to her that he's going to make sure that she has a safe delivery. Unfortunately, just moments before she's about to give birth, this doctor gets murdered by an obsessed stalker who seems to be stalking Ai and has an obsession over her. However, just because this doctor lost his life, that didn't mean that his soul went away. As a result, some way, somehow, this soul managed to be in one of Ai's children. Because of all this, now the doctor is one of Ai's children. And as if things couldn't get even more bizarre, the other child that Ai had, this time being a girl, was also somebody else's soul being into one of Ai's kids. And this is quickly shown, as even though they are kids, they are able to talk very well, and both quickly realize that they still have the memories of the past life that they used to have. Now, this may seem like a very bizarre way to start a series, but trust me, this isn't even one of the biggest highlights of this series, as one of the things that really makes Oshi no Ko stand out from other manga series is just how unpredictable this series can get. As in the first chapters of the series, it made us believe that this is going to be mainly focusing on Ai's career, and Ai was going to be the main protagonist of this series, showing us how she handles her idol career, but at the same time keeping her children a secret from the public. But that will be far from the case, because this series will be all about Aqua and Ruby, Ai's children, as sadly one tragic day, as Ai was at her peak of her career and it seemed that she was going to be a really well-known celebrity of all time. Remember that stalker that killed the doctor moments before she was about to give birth? Well, he returned and managed to find out where Ai lives, and sadly when Ai opened the door when he was knocking, he actually stabbed her. And to make matters worse, he did it in front of Ai's children, and you could just imagine the trauma and the sadness that they had to deal with seeing their own mother have her life being taken away in front of their eyes. And at that moment, I realized that this was just simply an epilogue of what the main story was going to be about. We fast forward and Aqua and Ruby are starting to grow up, and while it seems that they are trying their best to move on in life, both Aqua and Ruby have goals that they want to reach. As the series goes on, we learn that Ruby's goal and her dream is to become an idol just like her mother. It seems that she wants to follow her mother's footsteps and achieve the dreams that sadly Ai couldn't achieve because her life was taken away on that tragic day. However, Aqua was a different case, as he just simply wanted revenge for the person who murdered Ai. Now you may be wondering, wait, wasn't Ai's killer the stalker that knocked on her door and stabbed her? However, Aqua believes that there may be somebody else behind the scenes who was also wanting Ai to get killed. And the person he suspects the most is his very own father, as there hasn't really been a time in which Aqua or Ruby even met their father. In fact, they didn't even know who their father was, because I never told them anything about their father, not even to the people around her that were very close to her. However, Aqua realizes that there may be people that may know about Ai's life, and in fact may even know who his father is, and that is the people who are in the entertainment industry. The people who have worked with Ai in the past, because remember, Ai's career was at its peak and she was getting a lot of job offers from a lot of different kinds of entertainment. So Aqua realized that maybe if he works with the people who used to work with Ai, maybe he'll get information about her life and the person who is his father, since something that a lot of people in Oshi no Ko mention is that Aqua is a really good actor and he could actually make a decent career at his acting skills. Despite Aqua at first refusing to be an actor, now he decides that he has to do it in order to see who actually is the one responsible responsible for Ai's murder. And this is where Oshinoko is really good at balancing the revenge story that Aqua is having, but also shedding some light as to, once again, as to what happens behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. Whether it's people faking personalities or pretending to be something they're not, having a lot of pressure to be at the very top, whether these are actors or directors. This is something that a lot of them have to deal with from time to time. And it's not like Aqua didn't know this. He knew what the entertainment industry was, as he witnessed Ai having to deal with some of the things in the entertainment industry. But now that he's part of the entertainment industry, now he knows what it feels like and how Ai felt when she was doing all these job offers and trying her hardest to get to the top. And there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, whether it's a TV show, a reality TV show, movies, plays, anime, manga, etc. Oshinoko is really good at showing us that despite what kind of entertainment or what kind of piece of media you're into, it's not always going to be a perfect environment. There's not always going to be moments where it's completely easy. There's always going to be hardships no matter what you're into. And this also goes the same as internet celebrities like the social media influencers, YouTubers, etc. Like Oshinoko is really good at even showing us the modern kinds of celebrities that are happening nowadays. Some people want to become YouTubers, but sometimes it's not that easy to do. Some YouTubers or social media influencers worry about their public image. Not only that, but they sometimes have to make sacrifices in order to just keep making videos or making sure they have their fan bases happy. That is something that a lot of them have a hard time dealing with. Not to mention how the internet isn't always going to be a very happy place. And this is something that also, once again, Oshinoko is really good at showing us, that the internet can sometimes really be a place where it can make and break people at the same time. Some people can deal with all the things that happen online. Some people can deal with the people who are being toxic and negative towards them. But oftentimes, there's also cases where some people can't take it anymore. Some people go into hiding. Some people disappear from the internet. And in some worst case scenarios, I'm not even going to mention them because we're on YouTube, but you guys know what most likely happens to some people who can't take the ridicule and the hate that some people are throwing at them, and this leads to them making some very drastic decisions. This was greatly shown in the character Akane. Akane has now become one of my most favorite female characters of Oshinoko. Don't worry, there are other characters that I'm interested in, and there are other female characters in this series as well that are also some of my favorites. But I think with Akane, and I think how her character development has been throughout the series and what she has to go through, she has become one of my favorite characters of the entire series. And this will be shown in the reality TV show arc, in which Akane and Aqua were in the same group of people who were going to be part of a reality TV show. However, this is also one thing that Oshinoko is great at doing, and it's showing us that not everything is real in the entertainment industry. What I mean is that especially in reality TV, that it may look real, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes and how maybe some of the things are being fabricated. And this was shown with Akane, because when she was in this reality TV show, the reality TV show portrayed her as something not so great, and as a result, this got her to be harassed and ridiculed by the fans of the show, because of course they didn't see the full context of some scenes, or they didn't see the bigger picture. Because again, some reality TV shows have a habit of fabricating dramas or taking some scenes out of context in order to make a certain person look bad or good. And sadly, this will be happening to Akane, because no matter what she did, she was always getting ridiculed by people online, to the point where she just couldn't take it anymore. And she felt that the only way to get this pain to go away is to no longer exist, which by just that description, you already know where things are going. But thankfully that didn't happen, because there was one person who was able to save Akane, and that is Aqua. And because of that, this will be the beginning of Aqua and Akane's relationship. As the more they talked and the more closer they got, the more the relationship started to deepen. But it wasn't always like this, because in the beginning, it was very clear that Aqua had ulterior motives with Akane. You see, Aqua wanted to use Akane just for simply his revenge, and that was just that. However, as they started to get more closer, that's when Akane realized that Aqua was not really being his true self. So when she confronted him about it, that's when Aqua revealed the question to her, is that what would she be doing if the person that she was interested in just simply wanted revenge and wanted to take care of someone who was responsible for the death of someone he deeply cared about. To which Akane responded by saying that no matter what, she would want to be by that person's side, which of course shocks Aqua as well as myself when I was reading that part. And as if things couldn't get even more shocking, later on in the series, another interaction between her and Aqua, she reveals that she knew that Aqua had ulterior motives with her all this time. However, no matter what, she was always wanting to be by his side, because she knew that there was a reason why he was doing all this. which goes to show that Akane does deeply care about Aqua, and even though she found out that Aqua was just simply using her, she didn't mind whatsoever. She just wanted to be by his side. And it's these kind of moments that made me realize that I've seen this dynamic before in a different series that I'm also a huge fan of. Yeah, it's not surprising that this made me think of Ayana Koji and Kei's relationship in Clash of the Elite. As similar to Akane, Kei also had the same mindset as well, that even though she knew that Ayana Koji was just using her for his plans and she was just simply somebody that he just wanted to use for ulterior motives, she still wanted to be by his side no matter what. And why is that the case? Well, it's simply because Ayana Koji saved her and promised her that she was going to be protected by him no matter what. Similar to Akane, most likely the reason why Akane cares so much about Aqua is because Aqua saved her from ending her own life, and she's very grateful for that. And for those reasons alone, it's no wonder why I enjoyed Aqua and Akane's relationship, because it reminded me so much of Ayana Koji and Kei's relationship. Both these relationships have characters who have dark pasts and are able to relate to each other because of that. Kei and Akane clearly, despite knowing what their ulterior motives are of the people they are interested in, decide to just no matter what be by their side. And as for Ayana Koji and Aqua, despite them having ulterior motives on the girls that are by their side, slowly but surely they start to care about these girls and want to protect them no matter what. Now, I can go on and on and on about Akane and Aqua's relationship, but you kind of get the point. And plus, I am planning on making another video talking about these two in more detail, so look forward to that. And overall, this manga series is great. I know I didn't go into every little detail about this series because, trust me, there's just a lot of things that happen in this series. And even in the most recent chapters, it seems that the series just keeps getting better. So I highly recommend you actually read this series if you are interested in it, because it's probably one of the best mangas I've read. I could have talked more about the arcs of this series and all the other characters of this series that made a huge impact, but if I were to do that, we'd be here all day and the video will be longer than it should be. So I highly recommend you actually read the manga if you are interested in this story, because it's a really great story. Not only is it really good at balancing the revenge story that Aqua is facing, but once again at the same time shedding light on things that happen in the entertainment industry, because this doesn't just happen in Japan. Like, this isn't just happening in the Japanese entertainment industry, this happens around the world. Like, for example, in the United States we have Hollywood. I mean, we all have seen the cases or we heard the stories of some things that have happened in behind the scenes in Hollywood. They're not great as well. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about Oshi no Ko. I'm really looking forward to the anime adaptation. I'm curious how they're going to adapt this anime because it is dark, so I'm kind of curious if they're going to have to tone some things down, because there are moments in this series that get dark extremely fast. So yeah, but still, I'm looking forward to the anime. And with that, that's pretty much the entire video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.